Hey folks, it's Lauren from Snowy's here with the Cedar Summit Trek Women's Down Sleeping Bag.
Hit it.
This awesome all-rounder comes with 2 warmth ratings with 650 plus feel power goose down and a spacious women's specific fit. Hold up fam, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any awesome content on the Snowy's channel. Let's get into it. So the Trek Women's Bag is a rework of the classic Cedar Summit Journey sleeping bag, which was always the women's specific partner to the unisex Trek bag. But moving forward, the naming conventions have changed. So the Trek Women's is what they're known as now. Now it comes in 2 different warmth ratings. We have our -1 comfort and our -9 degrees comfort. And these bags are also tested to the International EN standard, standardized comfort rating testings. So the bag, not only does it have that 2 warmth ratings, but it also comes in 2 different lengths. So in the -1 here, we've got this in the regular length. This is approximately 181 centimeters long externally, and that's going to suit users up to about 170 centimeters tall. And the width of the bag as well here at that widest point is around about 72.5 centimeters. Now moving to the -9 bag we've got here. Now this is in the long. Actually, I'll put the regular back so we can just have a quick little visual check here of the differences in the length. So as you can see, the long is a fair bit longer than the regular. So the long bag is around about 196 centimeters externally, and that's going to suit users up to around about 185 centimeters in height. Now the width of the long bag as well is a little bit wider, and that's going to go out to about 77.5 centimeters wide here. So your bags will come in this storage cell here, which ultimately your bags need to be kept in so your down's not going to be compressed long term, which will obviously affect your loft. But it weighs in the -1 regular size around 1.3 right through to the -9 in the longer size up to 1.9. So your bags will be somewhere within that range. Now in your storage cube, you will get the swing tag that comes with your bag. That's just going to have a little bit more information on the bag itself and some specs there, and more on the free flow zip system. Plus you get this bonus cute little Cedar Summit mini carabiner here. You'll also have your down certificate as well. Now this is the testing on the batch of down that's used in your specific bag. So this will be different depending on the bag that you've got. Not largely so obviously, but that's a really cool thing to have a look through. And you also have your compression sack as well. So I'll talk more on this a bit later. So the material of the bag is made from a 20 denier recycled nylon, and it's quite silky and lovely to touch. And that's going to be the same on the inside as well. It's going to be this 20 denier nylon. Now, as you can see, there is a slight ripstop weave woven into that external fabric that doesn't exist on the internal fabric. But they're both quite soft and silky, but the inner material, while still also being that 20 denier nylon, is really, really smooth. It's got almost like this, I guess the only way that I can describe it is lush, which probably doesn't really give you much, but it's just like a very soft feeling material as well. So the hood on the bag is a 3D construction. It's really nicely shaped, and it is designed to fit in a regular sized Cedar Summit pillow as well. So that tucks in really nicely there. And again, on the long model, the hood is a slightly little bit bigger, but again, that regular pillow fits really nicely in there. So your Trek Women's Bag also has Cedar Summit's free flow zip system. So one of the upgrades on the 2024 models is moving to number 5 YKK zips as opposed to number 3 on the previous models. Now we have on this side, which is the left-hand side in this women's bag, a roughly around about a 1/2 length zip here. Now that's got 2 zip sliders. We also have on the base here our footbox zip. Now that also has 2 zip sliders as well. The second one is hidden under here with this zipper pull. And we've also then got our 3rd zip, which is a full length zip running all the way along the right hand side. Now you will notice here that we've got a little black casing on the top of our zips. Now these are a little zip plow, which means that we can super quick and easy just zip up the bag without it catching on anything or having that zip getting twisted or kinked or anything like that. Now we also have on the inside a nice big baffle tube. Now that occurs on all of the zips, a big baffle tube here to stop draft coming through those zipper teeth, and that's a synthetic filled draft tube, so a little bit different to the rest of the bag. And we've also got a little bit of rigidity here. Not sure if the camera can pick it up. It's still very, very soft, but compared to the rest of the bag, it's just a little bit of a rigidity here along the edge of both the top and the bottom of the bag here, which means that you're not going to get any fabric sort of pulling into that zip and catching as you are zipping up and down as well. So I mentioned that draft tube before. Now that's going to run across the front here as well. And as you can see, it's a bit of a scalloped shape or scallop shaped draft tube, which means it's well shaped to fit around your neck and face here. And then that draft tube again runs along to a big down-filled baffle at the back here to stop any air coming in around your head and your neck. And of course the top of the hood has a really big baffle around the top of it as well. So on the inside of the bag, we've got a couple of little features. One here is our little hidden pocket here for storing any valuables. You probably wouldn't be able to fit a phone in there, or potentially you might be able to fit like one of the smaller iPhones, but I certainly wouldn't be able to fit my Google Pixel phone in there, for example. We've also got a couple of soft touch adjustment straps here that we can just pull through and really cinch up that hood and front sort of baffle section here, and that works again along the top like so. Again, I'll demonstrate that one for you in a little bit as well. And we've also got these little press stud tabs here, which double as a couple of different functions. One, obviously to keep the top of the sleeping bag together, just in case your zip happens to sort of work its way down, which is really unlikely, but it just gives you that extra bit of protection there. They also are a great function for your free flow zip system to give you the versatility of the bag, which I'll demonstrate in just a minute. And it's also your quilt lock point, which means you can add an additional Cedar Summit down quilt over the top of your existing bag if you're wanting to increase the warmth rating. It also gives you a bit of versatility too, so worth looking into that. Now, in terms of the baffle construction of the bag, we've got some vertical and some horizontal baffles. Now, the vertical baffles across the top of the body are excellent because they keep the down in place, and when you're tossing and turning, there's no possibility for that insulation to sort of be pushed or moved to the side, giving you a nice big cold spot here at the front. So the vertical baffles really do combat that nicely. The baffles themselves are also a 3D box baffle construction, meaning that between the internal and the external piece of fabric, we have an additional third piece which acts as a wall and really creates that 3D shape on those baffles instead of the stitching running straight through and creating a pinch point, which will also give you a cold spot on the bag as well. So the insulation is a 650 plus fill power goose down. And as you can see, it's got a really lovely, soft sort of cloud-like loft to it as well, which is going to be really efficient in keeping you warm. And the material is treated with a DWR, which is essentially a water repellency coating on it, which helps to keep your bag nice and dry. So that's about it for the features of the bag. So I'm just going to jump in here and do a bit of a comfort and a fit test. Now I am 170, and I mentioned before about the user height ratings for the regular and the long bag. Even though the user height for the regular bag is 170, I do know it is too small for me because I have previously tried it out. So the long is the bag for me at my 170 height. So just wriggling into position now, and where we got the zip sliders, tuck my ponytail in. So that's gone all the way up to the top here. Oh, it is actually very toasty. So I've got loads of room. I do have a bit of additional length at the footbox there, being 170. Obviously this max user height is 185, but it does mean that my feet aren't sort of pushing on the end of the bag and compressing any down there at the end. I've got plenty of room around my body, like on the inside here. I've got my arms at the side and sort of just resting there. Whereas if I sort of push my arms out, I've still got a fair amount of room there, and definitely enough room to sort of move my arms around my body if I want to like toss and turn in the bag. I definitely don't. I'm someone who doesn't really love a tight constrictive bag, but this doesn't feel tight or constricting for me in any way. So from here, obviously you can see that scallop draft tube is fitting really nicely around my neck, and I'll give a go of these adjustment straps here and really cinch that hood in like so. Do that on the front as well and pull that in nice and tight, so I can still feel that shaped draft collar at the front there is really helping to trap any air from coming in, and I'm definitely feeling really snug as a bug in this sleeping bag right now. So the really great thing that I mentioned before about the zip flow system, now I'm gonna extend out the hood here just a bit while I have a chat to you more about the free flow zip system, is that we can from the inside here, if I want to keep this button at the top here, this little quilt lock slash press stud here done up, I can reach in, feeling around that draft tube and pull this zip down on the side and get one of my arms out. And I can also do the same here. I'm going to click up this press stud spot there and just pull that down a little bit so I've got my arms out and functional here. So from this point I can also then sit up and have a cup of tea or eat some soup or read a book easily and still stay totally warm. I've got my hood cinched in. I've got all of the sleeping bag around me here like so. If I want to also regulate my temperature at night, I can just reach down here and either open up the bottom zip to get to my zip slider or pull my toggle and fully undo the base of the bag like so. That's going to give me a great opportunity to sort of regulate my temperature, and I can feel straight away, almost just with opening the footbox, I'm feeling quite a lot cooler than I did before. Like before I was really very hot. So that's made a really big difference there in terms of regulating the temperature. And of course, if I undo my press studs at the top here, like so, I also have the option to sit up and just have the top half of the bag folded down as well, like so. So that's about it for the fit and comfort test of the Trek Women's. I'm going to hop out and show you how to pack it away. So another thing that I forgot to mention earlier, in addition to the free flow zip system, is also zip coupling. And essentially what that means is that you have the option of attaching or joining a women's specific Cedar Summit bag with a unisex bag. And that is done by your long side zip that you have, which will fully open up. And then when you get down to the base here, you're just sliding both of these into the alternative bags and they'll connect up on the side. But again, that is something that you can only do between your women's specific bag and your unisex bag. Now, the the compression sack that comes with your bag is going to be different size depending on whether or not you've got the -1 or the -9 bag. So your -1 bag is going to come with a medium compression sack that's roughly 18 litres in total capacity. That'll compress down to around about 9 litres. Your -9 bag is going to come with a large compression sack, which is around about 26 litres in capacity, which will compress down to around about a 12 litre, 13 litre sort of size. Now, in terms of the physical dimensions of your pack size, that's going to vary depending on the individual person and how they're packing up their sleeping bag. So if you are starting to stuff your bag away like so, obviously with your down bag, it's going to be a lot better for you to be doing the stuff not the roll. If you're in a hurry, you might not be stuffing as efficiently, which means there's going to be a lot more air trapped in your bag, leaving you with a bigger packed size, versus if you were stuffing a little bit more carefully, you're grabbing smaller handfuls and you're really taking your time to push the air out, you're obviously going to be getting a much smaller compressed size. As you can see, there's quite a lot more room here in that compression sack, which allows for maybe some less efficient stuffing of the sleeping bag into the position there. So then we'll fold this up over the top and then re-clip those into place. And then from here, we can start to compress that bag down. So one thing that you might have noticed as I'm pulling these compression straps down on the bag is the shape. So traditionally Cedar Summit stuff sacks have been like a cylinder or a perfectly round shape, whereas this one's got more of an oval sort of type shape about it, which is a really great decision on Cedar Summit's part, because it means that when you're packing it, you're going to end up with a really nice sort of flat, wide compression sack, which is going to be a lot more economical of your packing space. So this is the -9 in the long version, so the largest sleeping bag in the Trek range. Comparing that here to a 1 litre Nalgene drink bottle in terms of size, I could definitely get it down a lot smaller than that. There's still quite a lot of air in this bag, and I haven't put a huge amount of effort into compressing it down, but that sort of should give you a bit of an idea of what the pack size is for this bag without too much effort at all. So that's about it for the Trek women's down sleeping bag from Cedar Summit. It's a really great option for car campers who want a high quality, super warm sleeping bag, or people who want a really good all-rounder that they can take also on a couple of days of hiking. You can get this at snowies.com.au at our lowest prices every day.